Hello and welcome to Audrey the ICONN Adventures. I'm Connie.
And I'm Daryl.
And this is Audrey the ICONN.
From the beautiful Lachlan River. We made our way from Menindee Lakes down to Hillston yesterday, about 370 odd kilometres, and there was, gosh, I can't remember how much dirt now. That's right, it was about 270 kilometres of dirt. So we didn't camp right on the banks of the river here because plenty of other people were. Oh, we're all packed up now. Connie's going to wave hello. Connie's going to wave hello. There we go. Only takes 2 times to get her attention. So we're just about packed up over there. You see Audrey is on a ramp just to level her out a bit. There's lots of prickles where we camp. So we just spent 10-15 minutes sweeping all the prickles out of our ground mat. And even with our ground mat, we had to wear our shoes last night because they poked through and grabbed hold really good. As soon as I got out of the car yesterday, one straight on the end of the toe and it was like, ouch, great way to start a camp. They're doing a bit of work here at the moment, but it looks like they're putting in a boat ramp. So, a little bit of road noise last night, nothing to complain about. We stayed up till after 10 last night and woke up 6-ish and really, I only heard a couple of vehicles during the night. So, the little town of Hillston, there was a fair few people here last night. Just about everyone was polite and kept quiet, which was lovely. We met a Victorian couple and they even left a pile of wood for the next person that comes along here. So they're up in Queensland and making their way back down south. So we've just got to rinse our hands, tip some water on the fire from last night that you will have already seen in this video, all going well. And we've only got a short drive today, maybe 110-ish, depending on what we find. Hopefully mostly dirt. Again, we shall see. So thanks for coming along. Again, lots of these lovely big gums, plenty of Corella and galahs flying through. A few old crows. That's all right. It was a really good spot to do an overnighter. So let's push on and see what the rest of the journey unfolds for us today. We're out and about exploring in Griffith today, and this old Navy aircraft, the wind's blowing a little bit and they got the angle on the blades of the prop just right, so if you get a bit of breeze, makes it go around, which is a really cool feature. So Royal Australian Navy is aircraft 903. I don't know what type of aircraft it was, obviously a multi-seater. You see the pilot's area there at the front, and then there's room for a bombardier or someone similar at the back. So this is right outside the information centre where we've called in to get the various brochures, and it's obviously during the day, so we're going to hear all sorts of cars and there's nothing I can do about that. So we're going to go exploring Griffith over the next few days and we'll share what we find with you. The sign says it all. So we're just having a little look here. Out the front, piece of artillery. Just go and have a quick look and see what it says underneath it here. Looks like it's rather closed in there. There's a British Ordnance BL 5.5-inch calibre medium artillery gun made in Great Britain in 1944 and used extensively throughout World War II. And we, being Australia, acquired some after the war and used them. Fired a 37.2 kilogram shell up to 2 kilometres. The gun weighed about 6.5 tonne, had a 10-man crew. So there you go. The memorial is only open on Fridays and Saturdays at this time of year, August, September, October, and just for a few hours each day. And it being a Tuesday today, that means we don't get to go and have a look. So we can just enjoy what they've got out front here on display for us. Now in the background is the next thing that I wanted to show you, which is one of their murals. Now, predominantly in the main street and the parallel street to the main street, being Banner Street and Banner Lane, I think they're called, is a whole heap of murals like this. Then there's a few others spread throughout the town in various places. You can get the brochure from the information centre. In all, there's 34 of these, and how appropriate that we have some World War I diggers with the poppies right outside the War Memorial. I've said it before that the smaller towns out in the country, they remember our Anzacs so well, and it's so appreciated. Well, I'm right near the centre of Griffith now, so there'll be plenty of road noise of all the cars going past. They've got this fantastic sculpture here, and I'll just pan down a bit. On the four sides there's some large plaques. I encourage you to come and have a look and have a read. It tells an awesome story of the hardship that the people of this area had to endure through World War I and World War II, and the years between those two wars and afterwards. So I do ask that you come along, pay your respects, and think a little bit about what we get to enjoy today because of what these people from all those many years ago had to endure. And there we go, the Anzac Memorial. That's well over 20 foot high, that monument there. So all those big pillars of names, they're all the people that have served for Australia from this area throughout all the wars. And on those pillars they marked who were killed in World War I and who were killed in World War II. And at the base of this monument, they got a special plaque listing those names of those who didn't come back. We're out and about exploring again today, and that town down there that we can see, that's Griffith, where we were yesterday, walking up and down a couple of the streets looking at all the artwork and the Anzac memorials, and had a nice little feed of Italian food because it is Italian week or something or other. The Taste of Italy, I think they've got it called. So today we're up at the Hermit's Cave, and I'm standing just below his lookout at the moment because it is blowing about 30 kilometres an hour, and all you would hear is the wind most likely. So we've come here to have a look at how this gent lived back between somewhere in the 1920s through till about 1952. So he was an Italian gent, and he lived up here as a hermit, built a lot of infrastructure to keep himself alive for the best part of somewhere near 30 years, I think. You can see all the various fields out there. We've got grapes, we've got a lot of citrus. That very light coloured section through the middle of the screen, that's all almond trees. And just below it, the green, is the citrus trees. A lot of oranges here. We bought a bag of oranges for $5 yesterday at a roadside stall, and I've got to say, are very tasty. Let's go have a look around the Hermit's set up here, up on the ridge line above Griffith. We've been making our way along the walk. The track is a little bit overgrown in a couple of places. Nowhere near as bad as the impression we had when talking to the information centre yesterday. This beautiful area here, you got some huge granite structure, and you can walk up between there to get back up to the road. There's numbers at various locations along the track. That's the number 7 near the bottom of the screen for this whopping big boulder. There's nothing on the brochure to tell you what anything is. And it looks like there may have been information boards here at some stage. We found the destroyed remnants of one, and one of the others right near the start of the walk. All the writing on it is so dilapidated now you can't read it, it's useless. It would be awesome if the council spent a few bucks and just tidied it up. So many people come here to look at this. When we pulled up, there would have been another 4 or 5 cars, and another 1 or 2 arrived while we were getting ready to come for our walk. It's a well-known attraction, and as I say, a few bucks spent by council, and hopefully the dirt bags stay away, and it's a beautiful location. Here's another one of the many walls that he built. Big retaining walls, all from the local stone that he's moved around. And another tunnel underneath another huge granite boulder. There's quite a few boulders out on top of boulders, and they're like little hidey holes to get into, perfect to get out of the weather. You see another layer up there. We're thinking this is where he had his terraced gardens. They are a type of an agave, my official plantologist informed me. Apparently he planted all sorts of food along with just ornamental plants up here. So it wasn't all about survival, it was also about making it homely. Look at this big overhang. It's beautiful, all the colouring in the rock, and virtually no graffiti. How wonderful is that, to go somewhere and not have to put up with the work of idiots. So we'll just keep wandering along these terrace gardens here. And there's an information sign up here, and we might even be able to read it. There's a plaque on the wall there, it says it's the garden. And yeah, look, but don't touch these critters. They've got some pretty decent sort of spikes on there that I guarantee you don't tickle. And wow, you can actually read the sign here for the garden. So I'm going to put the camera on there so we get it recorded, and then we'll have a read of it so we understand a bit better what's going on. Okay, I was standing just up there in that lovely lush green grass, and that was just up above this wall that he's built. So just another one of his terrace levels here as we work our way back down. A bit more of a look at his handiwork. And like just the beautiful colours in the rock here to start with, and the lichen growing on it. You see where the water's been running over. So various boulders that are broken off, possibly quite even since he was here. That's looking back up towards the terrace garden, and you can see his steps and a retaining wall to help hold the steps up that he's built there. There's another view of his agaves from below, and another staircase that he built, and there's just paths all over the place here that he's created. We're closing in on his main living area now. You can see this rather extensive wall that he's built here. And apparently had some sort of like gun emplacement or something similar to that out here as well. Not 100% sure. We'll look around and see if we can find any signage. During World War II though, because he is Italian and we were at war with the Italians, they came out here and arrested him and locked him up for a couple of years because they thought he was up to no good. Anyway, they searched the joint, found nothing wrong, so they left him in jail for a couple of years anyway. So that's a pretty awesome spot where Connie's getting to stand there to look out over town, so I'll make my way up there as well. There was a sign here until somebody decided that they should have it. So thank you to that person. So this is walking in. You can see where he's done more rock wall building. And we're walking in.
Kitchen that way.
Aha. Let's go around the kitchen and see what he's got cooking. Oh, I can see the fireplace that he had going. How cool is that? Stoned it all up. Like Connie standing next to a pillar. That's probably tall enough to let me walk in.
Yeah, it gets shorter once you go in.
I'll get shorter when we go in. So I told you the Italians aren't real tall.
And he had a curtain across that end, and that was his bedroom part.
That was the bedroom down there in the dark. And
this was the main cave.
you can see here how he's bricked it all in. Giving himself, ouch, hit my head on the roof. He's got some lovely trees that he's planted here. And the view out there to the east and southeast would have been fantastic. And the thickness of the wall would have helped to keep it a bit cooler in summer. That wall, so he's got a lump of wood in there as well. Let's go have a look from the other angle. Here's the plants looking back at his window. All this area rocked up. So all rock and then done with a crude mortar like we've seen in many of the buildings during our trip this year.
He put on a second bedroom.
And he had a second bedroom down here, maybe, for when the fellow hermits come for a visit. And you can see that he's bricked this wall up a bit here just to help close it in.
Could have been a storeroom or anything.
Yeah, we don't know what it was. What you can see here is how he's built this up along here. We're now up above that wall that I showed you before. Come down here a little bit. Oh, that rock moves a bit. And you can see this is the wall around to the little outpoint that Connie was standing on. Do a bit of a panorama view for you so you can see what Griffith looks like in 2025. Best part of roughly 100 years since he was here. The mountains would have looked much the same. You now see a sea of house roofs, and out behind them many acres of various crops. We're in the small country town of Leeton now. We left Griffith this morning and that was the Roxy Theatre, and of course I'm always on the lookout for the Anzac Memorial, and here we are right in the dead centre of town. I'm standing on a roundabout and this is where they had their memorial so that they never forget those who went and didn't get to come home. Like I've said so many times before, country towns do the best Anzac memorials. I was down at the monument a little earlier and we've just walked up the street a little ways and you can see this almost like a remembrance laneway that they've built here, and the pillars just here in front of us, each of them has an insignia of our forces, being the Royal Australian Army, Royal Australian Navy and the Royal Australian Air Force, and then there's a nice star there on the ground that says "Lest we forget." Well, we've travelled a little further east and now we're at a town called Narrandera, and we're looking at the old council building which was built in 1930, and it's directly across the street from the Anzac Memorial, which I'm about to go for a walk through. Still on our journeys east, and we're in a little town called Ganmain, And we went to the world famous bakery. Not sure what it was world famous for. Maybe the pies, maybe the lamingtons, maybe for the shop. Anyway, we had a little bit of afternoon tea there, which was lovely. Met some gents out the front who asked us where we're heading off to and told us about a couple of great little campsites that we'll have to keep up our sleeves for another day. So then I was able to ask them, where's the war memorial, please, because we can't find it. And here it is. It was being moved from where it was showing on the maps as being. So there's the 1914, 1918 memorial gate. Well, here we are. I just found another monument to walk over to, and some of the locals popped in for a visit. There's a nice little flock of sulphur-crested cockatoo. I quite like the cheeky fella there just standing on the side of the memorial. Oh. Of course, I heard of them coming, and lo and behold, they came and landed right here in front of me, just as I was heading over to this memorial that was erected to remember all of those who served in the Vietnam War. I'm just going to sit here and enjoy the antics of these characters. Haven't been up this close and personal with a sulphur-crested in quite a while. We haven't seen a lot of them on this trip even. We've seen a lot of Corella. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy them for a little while before I keep moving along through this beautiful Anzac Memorial Park that Wagga's got here.